You know that moment when your phone lights up and your chest tightens just a little? It's not that you dislike the person calling. Sometimes it's someone you care about. Sometimes it's an unknown number. But before you even think, your thumb hesitates. You watch it ring. You hope it stops. And when it finally does, you feel a strange mix of relief and guilt. Later, you might text them. You might even write something thoughtful. But the call itself feels like too much. Most people don't talk about this. Or if they do, it's usually framed as rudeness, antisocial, lazy, avoidant. There's an unspoken rule in society that says answering a call is basic courtesy. That if you don't pick up, something must be wrong with you. But what if nothing is wrong? What if this isn't about manners or effort at all? There's a certain kind of person who avoids phone calls not because they don't care, but because their nervous system reacts differently to unpredictability. And that reaction runs deeper than most people realize. When a phone rings, it demands immediate presence. Immediate response. There's no pause button, no time to regulate, no chance to choose your words carefully. You're suddenly on. Your voice, your tone, your reactions, all exposed in real time. For some nervous systems, that immediacy feels neutral. For others, it feels activating. Research in psychology shows that people who are more sensitive to social evaluation, even subtly, tend to experience higher anticipatory stress. It's not always dramatic anxiety. Sometimes it's just a spike in arousal, a faster heartbeat, a shallow breath, a mental scramble to prepare. Phone calls remove visual cues. You can't see facial expressions. You can't read body language. And that ambiguity forces the brain to fill in gaps. The social monitoring system turns on. Am I responding fast enough? Do I sound interested? Did that pause feel awkward? Texting, on the other hand, gives space. It allows editing, timing, control. For a brain that prefers predictability, that space feels safe. Neuroscience tells us that the amygdala, the part of the brain involved in threat detection, doesn't only react to physical danger, it also responds to social uncertainty. When something feels unpredictable and socially evaluative, even in small ways, the body prepares. Avoiding calls isn't always about fear of people. It's often about managing internal activation. And that pattern usually doesn't appear randomly. Many people who feel this way grew up in environments where communication carried weight. Maybe tone mattered a lot. Maybe conversations escalated quickly. Maybe they learned early on that saying the wrong thing could shift the mood of a room. Over time, the nervous system adapts. It becomes skilled at scanning, at anticipating, at choosing words carefully. In that context, a phone call isn't just a call, it's unscripted territory. Even if your current life is safe and stable, your body may still prefer forms of communication that allow regulation. That's not weakness, that's adaptation. Some people also learned to value emotional self-containment. They became the steady one, the thoughtful one, the one who doesn't react impulsively. Texting fits that identity. It allows reflection. Phone calls feel immediate, and immediacy can feel exposing. It's important to say this clearly. Avoiding phone calls is not inherently better or worse than loving them. It's not superior because it's introverted. It's not inferior because it's socially anxious. It's simply a difference in wiring and experience. There are people who feel deeply connected through spontaneous conversation. There are others who feel most authentic when given time to think. Neither is more evolved. Neither is more correct. But here's the part that's rarely discussed. The same sensitivity that makes phone calls feel overwhelming often creates other strengths. People who avoid calls tend to be highly attuned to nuance. They think before they speak. They notice subtle shifts in tone. They care about clarity. Their written communication can be precise and emotionally intelligent because they've learned to process internally before expressing externally. There's depth there. At the same time, there's a quiet cost. When avoidance becomes automatic, it can shrink your world in subtle ways. Opportunities delayed. Connections slightly weakened. Not because you don't care, but because the activation feels easier to escape than to sit with. And sometimes, the longer you avoid something, the more your brain labels it as threatening. not because it is, but because it's unfamiliar. That's the paradox. The behavior began as protection, a way to regulate, but if it becomes rigid, it can quietly reinforce the very tension it was trying to reduce. Still, none of this means you're broken. It means your nervous system learned something at some point. It learned that unpredictability required caution.